Hey gang, Pastor Jerry here. Good evening. We just finished prayer at the church, so I thought I would share with y'all tonight about anger part two. It's a choice, and so this may, I guess, kind of upset some people, and it may or may not, but it's the truth. We talked about anger as far as rage, as far as anger that is not of the Lord, anger that is not beneficial for the kingdom, anger that does not bring about the will of God. And so we discussed that last night and how that is detrimental to your witness, detrimental to your family, to yourself, how it destroys relationships. And so we discussed that for a while. And tonight I want to kind of talk about how it's a feeling. And but it really isn't. Well, in the sense of it's a choice. You make the choice to be angry without sin or with sin. And so here's what I'm saying. Everyone has triggers. And when you get a trigger in your life, the thing that makes you get angry, the thing that trips your trigger, that flips your switch, you make that choice at that moment to allow that to get to you, so to speak. And so, hey Davina, hey Annie. And so let's talk about two things right now: triggers and choices. Number one, what's a trigger? Well, it's something that you pull, something that has to be activated and actuated. And so you know your triggers. You know the things that cause you to sin. You know the things that cause you to get angry. And a lot of times those things aren't controllable, but they are avoidable. And what I mean by this, you can't control what someone says to you. You can't control the weather. You can't control how people drive. You can't control a lot of things. But you can control how you respond to that stimuli or that trigger. You have to make the choice to step back, reassess, and to respond and not react. And so when you have a trigger in your life, or many people who have many issues with uncontrollable anger and rage, they have many triggers. And they have a hair trigger, meaning that any little thing gets them going. And so, and I'm talking from a Christian standpoint because that's what I know the best. If you're a Christian and you have a hair trigger, well, then you really aren't walking in love and forgiveness. And that's going to be tomorrow, is walking in love and forgiveness, because that's really the only thing that's going to help you, is walking in love and forgiveness. But that's tomorrow. But anyway, so triggers. I know my triggers, and it's not the fact that I'm an angry person. I'm not. But the issue is this: there are things in my life or things around me that upset me, and I have made the choice to now being able to control that and let God have that. I know things are going to get me upset, but I've made the choice on how I'm going to respond to it. And so that's a trigger. Now, the choice is yours. Again, anger is not bad in itself, but most people don't control anger properly. They go off, they cuss, they hit, they drink, they do drugs, and that's how they soothe themselves. And that's not God's plan for your life. So let's break it down here. When you get angry, at that moment, you make the choice to be angry, and you make the choice to continue in the thought process. And you have to get to a point in your life where the payoff for getting angry is not according to God's will, and it's deleterious, or it's not beneficial for the life that you want to live. And again, everybody gets angry at some time, but it's all in how you respond to the stimuli, to the trigger. And hey, Dave, hey, Robert. And so I'll give you an example. Someone cusses you out. Someone says words to you that are hurtful. Someone cuts you off. Your spouse says something. Your fiance says something. People that you don't know say something. You have to, at that split second, make a choice, not a feeling, but make a choice to not react. You have to respond. And my biggest thing is that I walk away, because I've learned that I don't want to destroy my witness. I don't want to disparage the things of God to where people say, wow, you're a Christian. And that's where it all comes from, is that I care more about my witness than myself. I care more about what people think about God than me. And I know that if I make the choice to go off, to act out of myself, I make God look bad. And here's the deal. The Bible says that vengeance is mine, thus saith the Lord. So it doesn't matter what they've done. If they've raped you, if they've molested you, if they've left you behind, God will take care of them. You have to make sure that you are planting and sowing seeds that you want to harvest one day. And what I mean by this is this. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. And if you get angry today, you're going to reap it later on. But if you choose to walk away, at that moment, people may think you're a punk or a sissy or non-confrontational, so to speak. But you're going to reap the harvest of letting God handle them and not you, and thereby turning them to God. Because when we handle it, we turn people away from God, unless we handle it in the godly manner. Because now in my life, when people are mad at me, I've learned to de-escalate. It's called verbal judo. I'll say, hey, listen, did I upset you? I'm sorry. I apologize. Can we talk about this? Because see, I care more about the relationship than being right. And that's the thing is too, is that there are a lot of times when you get angry, you want to be right, and it's not necessary, because God has to be right. And there are people in this world who, if you told them the sky was blue and air was invisible, they would say you're a liar. Let those people go. There are people in the world who are never wrong. They never think they're wrong. Leave those people alone, unless you're married to them, of course. But we have to make sure that we know our triggers. We know what makes us mad, and we have to not react but respond. Stepping back, walking away takes practice and takes intentionality. And when you make the choice to step back, walk away, and allow God to fight your battle, it's so much more rewarding. Hey, Jose, what's up, man? Hey, Joe. And so this isn't a long video tonight, but I really want you all to think about that. Know your triggers, know what ticks you off, know what gets you going, know what gets under your skin, and give that to the Lord. And then make the choice to respond and not react, because your reaction never brings about a positive thing. Hey, Cheryl, it never does, because you're reacting out of the flesh. You're not acting in the spirit. And when you respond, you do two things. Three, you de-escalate, you respond in the spirit realm, and you give God the room to take care of the situation. So begin to think about 4 or 5 things that really tick you off. Think about 4 or 5 things that really anger you. Think about things that just make you go crazy. Hey, Nikki, and you think of ways, or you think of those triggers. Those are your triggers, okay? And so then you think about who does it, and you either avoid those people, or if you can't not avoid them, you think of a way to respond that's going to glorify God, de-escalate, and give God the room. Hey, Chris, give God the room to do what he has to do. Because our whole goal as Christians is to turn people to Jesus. And when we do that, it shows our maturity. No one ever won a fight, and no one ever won anyone to you by cussing them out or by going off on them. That's not the whole point of a Christian. Hey, Steve, the point of a Christian is to turn people towards Jesus. Let's see, triggers, react, response as a choice. Anger is not a feeling, it's a choice. And when you turn yourself towards the fruits of the Spirit, if you don't know what those are, go look in the Bible. Go look at a book called Galatians and go to chapter 5 and read verses, I think, starts around verse 16. And it'll show you the fruits or the nature of God. And if you want to learn how to control your anger, you ask God to give you those fruits. And if you are a Christian, you already have them. They just may be underdeveloped. They may be very, very small, very, very small fruits. And so as you pray, as you worship, as you go to church, as you keep your mouth closed, as you do the things that God wants you to do, those fruits will get bigger. Long suffering, gentleness, kindness, love, peace, joy. All those things are the nature of God or the fruits of the Spirit. And when you are a person who's prone to a hair trigger or being pissed off all the time, those are the main things you should do. And as a matter of fact, maybe we'll go over those tomorrow also. We'll go over the fruits of the Spirit, because I'm finding out that the people who have those hair triggers, who can't control their anger, who have a lot of rage, they have very, very small fruits. They're either not Christian and they don't care, or they're Christian and they don't care, or they don't know that they're there. And so my desire, my heart, and I think it's God's heart too, is to have everyone kind of turn their mindset towards Him. And when people are irritating you all, think about how it makes God look. How does it look like you going off on somebody and you reacting versus responding make God look? And if you're watching me and you're not a Christian, then how does it make you look? Does it make you look bigger, stronger? Do you win? And I don't want to win a fight. I want to win people to me. I want to win people to Jesus. All right? I think that's it for tonight. This is on Facebook right now. If you're watching me on YouTube, thank you so much. And if you're on Facebook, do me a favor. I'm going to try to put my link at the bottom for my YouTube channel. It's Sin City Pastors. I'm trying to grow that channel to where more and more people can know. What is this? You have to know that you're wrong. Yeah, Christopher, you're right. You're absolutely right. So if you could, go onto my YouTube channel and check it out and subscribe, ring the notification bell. And I'll be back here sometime tomorrow. And hey, Christina. And I'll share with you more things about walking in love and not in anger. All right. Y'all have a good one. See you. Bye-bye.